Hey everybody, this is TotalGamerJunkie. I want to welcome you all back to my channel. So in this video, I want to talk about Prescott Farm from Life is Strange episodes 4 and 5. And I want to talk about why it's there, what is the point of it. Now I know you're all going to say, oh, that's where the dark room is. It's where Jefferson took all his victims to take pictures of, like Kate, Max, and Victoria. And I know that. But I want to discuss why it's abandoned, like my own theories about why it's in such a bad state. So anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and before I start, just want to give a shout out to one of my subs, DrDaniel, who gave me the inspiration to make this video in a comment that he put in the previous video. Let's get started. So the first time we ever see the Prescott barn is in episode 4 of Life is Strange. Now, the barn itself is pretty old. It looks like it's been abandoned. It's kind of, well, not kind of, is like decaying. Well, not decaying in a sense. It's more like it's run down, you know. It looks like there hasn't been much work done on it. But there are things of interest in the barn, mainly the dark room, which Jefferson uses for his victims, where he takes the photographs for his dark, twisted art, and it's where he also stores all his work. Like, I assume he stores it there because he's got all those photos. Like, I mean, I don't see Jefferson putting them on his phone or just keeping pictures around his home. But anyways, I'm not here to talk about the dark room, I'm here to talk about the barn. Now, there isn't really that much information about the barn, but I want to cover what I found out and share it with you anyway. So one of the interesting things is that the barn is owned by the Prescott family, and even more interesting, it's not owned by Sean Prescott. It's under the name of Harry Aaron Prescott. Now, there isn't much information about him, except from what I found, he's actually Sean Prescott's father and the grandfather of Nathan. His name is first mentioned in episode 4 when Max and Chloe enter the barn and Chloe sees this chest and she opens it. And when she opens it, this is what's weird. So you find all these files, you find these books in this chest that's in an abandoned farmhouse, like, you know, a barn. Just, I found it weird. Looking back now, I find it weird because if this place, like, is so abandoned, why would you keep all this stuff here? Like, Chloe goes through it and she discovers that Harry Aaron Prescott and his family, I'm pretty sure it's not Sean, but his other family, like his parents and that, donated money for a new library to Arcadia Bay. Now, I don't know if this is Blackwell or just some random library in Arcadia Bay. It doesn't say. But what's interesting is what Chloe says next. Prescott Industries celebrates grand opening, then followed by the Prescott Spring Bomb Shelter boom to town. So that kind of gives us some information about the dark room, that originally it was a bomb shelter and it could have actually just been built as a bomb shelter. Because you remember when Jefferson tells Max that when he was manipulating Nathan in a sense got a father figure from Jefferson because his own father was neglecting him, and in return Jefferson got access to the Prescott fund. So I found this interesting, that okay, what if Jefferson didn't have the bomb shelter built? What if it was already built? Because I found it weird that, okay, you have this bomb shelter built, he has all this equipment, how was he able to do this without anyone knowing? And wouldn't Sean Prescott have known that his son was spending thousands of dollars to have a bomb shelter built? But this kind of clears it up. Well, it really does clear it up. If the bomb shelter is already built, then it's understandable how there isn't that much suspicion. So really, all Jefferson would have bought is the cameras and the photo equipment and the computers and all that. He wouldn't have had to pay to build the bomb shelter because it was already built. And so while that basically answers, okay, how did Jefferson build the bomb shelter without being noticed. He didn't. We got our answer. I still find it odd that the chest is lying in the corner with all these documents and that. So I guess like the most simplest answer would be, okay, this is a plot device. This is just put there to advance the story. Simple, bland, but it works. But what if there's more to it? What if Nathan left the chest out there deliberately? Because if you remember, in episode 5, when Max is driving the car to get to Jefferson's car to get to Warren at the Two Whales Diner, she has a missed call from Nathan. And Nathan is apologizing to her. He's telling Max he's sorry for what he'd done. He didn't want to do it, but Jefferson used him like other people used him. And he warns her that Jefferson will be coming for her. So maybe in this way, in this subtle way, it's his guilt, like, for what he's doing, and he wants to be caught. So he's deliberately left the chest out, which I guess in a sense would make it for an interesting way for him to die, because as we all know, Jefferson killed Nathan. What if Jefferson killed Nathan not because he was a liability? Well, he would have been a liability, but not because for what he did to Rachel, but because he was trying to get himself and Jefferson caught by the police. And Jefferson wasn't going to go to jail, so he killed Nathan, but he didn't know about all the clues Nathan left behind. Maybe he knew about a few things, and he managed to destroy bits of evidence, which I gotta say, it's pretty stupid that he wouldn't know about the chest. But one of the getting tongue-tied. One of the best hiding places is hiding something in plain sight. Like, you see a lot of it in movies and books when there's something that the the main character, the protagonist, is looking for, and in some cases, it's always in plain sight. So this probably seems far-fetched, it probably seems stupid, but it's interesting, you know, it's just something to think about. Alright, I've gone off a little off topic a bit, let me get back on topic, which is, why is the Prescott barn abandoned? And I just realized I kept saying farm and barn, I kept switching it up. It's a barn, it's not a farm. So anyways, let me talk about my reasons of why I believe it's abandoned. Now, Nathan's father, Sean Prescott, is going to be the reason why I believe the barn is abandoned. Now, this is a man who really only cares about one thing: the Prescott legacy. In Before the Storm episode 2, you can see him talking to Nathan, and Nathan's telling his dad that he doesn't want to go on stage, that people will laugh at him. But Sean doesn't seem to care. He tells Nathan that he will not embarrass him, and the Prescott legacy is something that he needs to live up to. He says, "It's my legacy and you will not embarrass me." So basically, it's okay, Nathan, you have a responsibility. You need to uphold this legacy. It's something that we need to preserve, because you can tell with the Prescotts, their influence is all over Arcadia Bay. You can even see it in Blackwell. Like, I actually believe that he has been paying Principal Wells to change Nathan's grades, because if you look at his grades, you can see that they're bad. And the teachers are saying that Nathan's a bad student, he's just missing classes, he's being rude. But you can also find another report where it's edited to say that Nathan Prescott is an outstanding student, and he continues to live up to the he continues to live up to the Prescott name, which is obviously, it's faked. So you can tell that Sean knows, okay, my son's a piece of shit, he's a liability, so I'm going to throw around as much money as I can to make him look good, to preserve my legacy. And I do believe at one point with Prescott Barn, because that was built by his father, I believe, so I don't think he'd see the point. It'd be like, okay, we have a bomb shelter, should anything happen to it, we'll use it. But what's the point of keeping the barn up and running? What's the point of always getting it checked out? So I think if legacy and stuff is all important to him, I believe that the bunker is more important than the barn itself. Because if the barn burns down, or if it gets broken, you know, then okay, it can be rebuilt. But how much would a bomb shelter cost to be rebuilt if it was ever broken? So, and another thing is that the Prescotts, they want control, basically. They want to control everything in Arcadia Bay. And it also seems out of character. Okay, if this bunker was built by your grandfather, then wouldn't you want to find a way to preserve it? Because I guess you could say that Sean Prescott doesn't really care. And in another sense, you could say, okay, he wants to preserve his family's legacy, but he wants to do it his way. He wants to preserve what he makes, and he doesn't care about the Prescott barn. He doesn't care that his father built a bomb shelter there. He knows it's there, but he doesn't care. He's not focused on preserving his family's legacy in the past. He just wants to move forward and preserve what he has. He wants to take care of his assets, not his father's assets, not possibly his own grandfather's assets. He just wants what he wants to preserve, you know? He'll take care of what he wants. He'll buy what he wants. He'll sell what he wants. He doesn't really care in a sense. So I guess you could say he's really a vain arsehole. So anyways, that's why I believe Prescott Barn is abandoned and not up and running. And it's also the reason why I believe that, not why I believe, sorry. I also gave a theory about how I believed the bomb shelter and the dark room were created and how they were made at separate times. Sorry if you didn't like this video. Yeah, I should have put a lot of more information into it, but there really isn't much information. I know there's actually a journal entry you can find in episode 4 when you search Max's journal, but I didn't put it in here because it didn't really give much more information, because there wasn't really any here. If there was more, then this video would have been better. So anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and please let me know if you did in the comments below. This is TotalGamerJunkie, signing off.